access. As you've seen from the thumbnail, it is about the Star Trek Playmate figures. What the hell is going on? Like, literally, what's going on with this line? Originally when they come out, they said that they were going to do a few lines of these a year. And I just don't know what's going on with them. We have Picard here, and I've obviously reviewed the rest of them as well. And just down here, you might make out there's data there. We'll put Picard back just there. So what's going on? What I can find out is nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's so frustrating because we all want stuff. We want it. Give us the Star Trek. So there was big plans for it. I don't know what's exactly happened. I don't know whether they've just had production problems, whether inflation has hurt them or what. I do not know. Whether confidence. Also as well, remember this first wave was a test wave. And I'm wondering whether it hasn't performed as well as they expected it, which means they may have pulled it. But as far as I know, the website is still up. There's still stuff coming out. They have confirmed some bits. So they've definitely 100% confirmed, but by the fall is what they said. Now, their timing and their release dates are rubbish, so I would take this with... the information that came out was official, but take the timing of when it's due to release with a pinch of salt, because they told... they said that by the fall, they will be releasing the TOS Communicator, so a re-release, and another re-release of the Enterprise D. This goes into what I was told at the London Toy Fair back in January. If you can remember back then, it was 7 months ago, by the way. And one of the people there was mentioning, you know, the ships like the hero ships, and especially the Enterprise D, and like the tricorder, the phasers, the communicator. So they sort of fit into what I was told. It's also worth noting that there was figures around that time that were shown. They were not part of Wave 2. I was specifically told that. They were early prototypes or early ones that were going to be produced for later on. I think as well, when they done another toy fair, they did have other ones on there as well, which were part of another wave. Not part of Wave 2, by the way. So what's happened? Where is Wave 2? Nobody knows. I was under the understanding that it had already been released. I reckon they were looking around this sort of time to release Wave 2 or the first wave, because we had the test wave, and nothing. Now, also, I want to get onto the Prodigy stuff. So Star Trek Prodigy, they were going very heavy with Star Trek Prodigy. We would have this main line, which consisted of the Enterprise up there, and we got the phaser just here, and we had the old figures as well. And I always have to do that, by the way. And we had the old figures as well, and they were more centered on the collector base. That's why we got the retro packaging on them, especially in the US. But over here we didn't get that. But that was why they were concentrating more on the retro packaging, because they were focusing or targeting at the collector market, because that is what it is. If you've watched any study on that, 90%, not 90%, sorry, 70% of toy sales now is by people in their 30s or older, because they're collectors, like we all are, like as you can see here. So that's what they were targeting at. Their second line, which was the Prodigy line, which was basically going to sort of be along their main line but slightly different. So you're going to have the main line, and the Prodigy line was going to be sort of in scale but not part of it, its own separate entity, its own separate thing. So when I was told at the toy fair, there was the collector's market is going to be for the main line, and the play element was going to be for Star Trek Prodigy, and they were going to go heavy on this. So they were going to create all sorts of figures. They were even going to do some bigger figures as well for this, so you could get them out of the packaging. They were going to do much more play sets as well. There was preview of the Protostar bridge set, and they were going to do scenery sets, and they were going to do the buggy as well, and it was all going to be around play and connectivity and stuff like that. So these ones, things like this, you would keep in the packaging. But what they wanted you to do with the Star Trek project is rip it open and start playing with it. That was what it was all about. So also as well, the Star Trek project figures were supposed to be released at Christmas time last year. That didn't happen. Then they said it was going to be released at Easter. It got a very, very light, and I mean light, release in the US. But over here in the UK, we are still waiting. And now, with the cancellation of Star Trek Project E, and it has been cancelled, there's a possibility we probably won't get any Project E stuff. We may get the first couple of figures. Now, there was this sort of kafari or hoo-ha or whatever you want to call it, because Janeway was supposed to be part of the wave. Janeway wasn't, and it was cancelled, and they announced that it had been pulled, and it was going to be part of the main line this time, and it was going to be released at a later date. I always believed it was going to be part of the main line anyway. Why would you bring a figure out and then do another one for the main line? The figure itself looks like it's part of the main line as well, and not part of Star Trek Project. But yeah, it's in doubt as well, because we've got the 4 characters. Well, we get actually the 5 characters, but minus Rok-Tahk, and I don't know if we'll ever get that now as well. There was also a they were also trialing or looking at doing the Talk Trek. Now, if you don't know what the Talk Trek system was, it was massively similar to the Force, I think it was called Talk Force for the Star Wars line. So basically you'd have a Force Link. That was it. I know some people go, Force Link! Shout it up. It was called Force Link. So you had this device that strapped onto your hand, and when you place certain characters on it, the Force Link characters, it said phrases, different phrases, and it also did sound effects as well. They did a normal Force Link, and then they actually did a Force Link 2. Anyway, Talk Trek were very similar. So they were going to do the Project E figures, and there were some mock-ups of that done. And basically what they were going to do is you would buy the bridge set, and you would buy sort of other play sets for Star Trek Project E. And then what would happen was, when you touched it, or when it touched or went near the consoles, they would talk. And I think as well that they were going for the same thing that they did with the Disney Pixar figures, where they would talk to each other. Whether that was going to be a button, I weren't too sure. But it didn't look like there was a button on the figure, but it did make sound effects and voice from the show and stuff like that. Once again, I don't know if that's now going to happen, because Star Trek Project is now dead in the water. I don't. They've done season 2, but now it's been cancelled and pulled, and Paramount have basically chucked it in the bin. I very much doubt we will get anything past season 2, even if season 2 does miraculously come out in some form or fashion. But remember, there are series that have been made and never got released and never came out. So Star Trek Project E season 2 is on the long list of that, where it's been finished, completed, ready to go, and it's never seen the light of day. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that we do get season 2. But where does that leave in the Star Trek thing? I don't know. For us here in the UK, I don't know neither. I don't know whether we'll ever get the figures over here, whether they were just in the US, whether they will sell them off cheap, so whether they will become as seconds or overstock for stores here in the UK. So you might be able to pick them up in places like B&M and Hobart, those sort of shops. But yeah, it's a bit dire at the moment. But I'd like to bring you some information, but we've got nothing. There's no information, which is so frustrating. Like I said, we have got the confirmation that we're definitely getting the TOS communicator and the Enterprise D. But in terms of figures and release and everything else, we don't know. And that's Playmates for you. They are very, very secretive, very not forthcoming. They do release stuff just like that. They They've, but they are very good at when they do release stuff. So the new Turtles film that's just, or isn't even come out yet, but you can buy all the figures already, even the sewer playset, and loads of other vehicles and stuff like that. So they can bring out stuff. But yeah, the Star Trek stuff at the moment, we don't know. Let us know in the comments below what you think's going on, because I ain't got a clue. As soon as I get some information on what's going on, I will let you guys know. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you at the next video. Take it easy.